Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet the food and the basket to go on the picnic table I made a couple of weeks ago. The size for the picnic table with all the food on it, made in 8-ply wool, is 16 centimetres by 20 centimetres or 6¼ inches by 8 inches. The medium picnic table, this one here, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton, is 11½ centimetres by 14½ centimetres or 4½ inches by 5¾ inches. I do have the sizes of the individual pieces, so I'll put them in the description below and also on my website with my pattern. I'll be using 4-ply crochet cotton today. I've got white, yellow, green and red. I've got scissors, a 1.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle to weave in the ends, sewing thread and a needle to stitch them together, and the black thread is to embroider seeds on the watermelon. Now I'm going to start with the watermelon. I'm going to start on this centre part with the red. I make a magic loop, so I make a circle like that. Put the yarn around the hook and bring the hook with the yarn through the circle, and there's my magic loop. And then I work 1 chain and 4 single crochet into the circle. A single crochet is called a double crochet in the UK. For a single crochet, I put my hook into the circle through the front and bring back a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through both loops. I need 3 more single crochet. And then I take hold of the tail and ease the circle in. For row 2, I start with 1 chain and turn my work, and I work 2 single crochet into each stitch. For row 3, I start with 1 chain and turn my work. I work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the following stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that across the row. So 2 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the following stitch, and just repeat 2 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the following stitch. And then work 2 single crochet into the last stitch. And that's the centre part of the watermelon done, except for a neatening row just across the top there. So I'm going to work a slip stitch into each stitch across the top. For a slip stitch, I put the hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. And I'll work 1 slip stitch in each stitch across the top. I'm not going to pull it too tight. Now I've got a slip stitch in each stitch, so I fasten off and that's the centre part of the watermelon done. I'll just weave in those ends so they don't get in the way. Now I'm going to start on this thin white line now, so I join my white cotton in the first stitch. And I'm going to work one slip stitch in each stitch just around the curve. For a slip stitch, I put my hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on my hook. Slip stitch in the top of the last stitch and fasten off. Now I'll just weave in those ends to make it easier to see while I'm crocheting the next row. Now I work the green rind next, so I join it in the first stitch on the white, and I'm going to work a slip stitch into each stitch, but into the back loop only, so just into that loop there. That will just make the white, a very thin line of white show up. So one slip stitch into each stitch around the curve. I apologise for my voice. I'm still getting over the flu, and at times I'm having trouble getting the words to come out properly. Then just slip stitch into the top there, and fasten off. And that's the crocheting on the watermelon done. Now I'll start on a sauce bottle next. I'm going to use red, but I'll also make a yellow one. So I start with 6 chain. For row 1, I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each stitch to the end. A single crochet is called a double crochet in the UK. For row 2, I work 1 chain and turn my work and work 1 single crochet into each of the 5 stitches. Then I work one chain and I slip stitch in to that first chain that I missed, just in there, and then I work one chain and fasten off. The chains for the top of the bottle, and that's the sauce bottle finished. Now for the glass, I start at the bottom and I'm using my yellow. I work 3 chain. For row 1, I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the remaining 2 chain. A single crochet is a double crochet in the UK. For row 2, I start with 1 chain and turn my work. I work 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. And for row 3, I start with 1 chain and turn my work and work 1 single crochet into each of the 3 stitches. And that's the glass done except for a neatening row. For the neatening row, we work 1 slip stitch in each stitch down the sides and along the bottom. Slip stitch into the top and fasten off. And that's the bottom of the glass done. I'll just weave in the ends and we'll do the top bit. Now for the top of the glass, we join our white in the first stitch along the top. And work 1 chain, and we work 1 single crochet into each stitch along the top. And fasten off. And that's the glass. I've just got to crochet a straw now. For the straw, using my white, I just crochet 10 chain. And fasten off. Now for the small basket, I'm using my white. I start with 10 chain. For row 1, I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each stitch to the end. For row 2, I start with one chain and turn my work and work one single crochet into the first stitch, and I'm going to work a double crochet into the bottom of the next stitch. So the bottom of the next stitch is that chain just at the bottom there. A double crochet is called a treble in the UK. For a double crochet, I put the yarn around the hook in to the bottom of the stitch and bring through a loop, yarn around the hook and yarn through 2 loops, yarn around the hook and take it through the next 2 loops. Then I work a single crochet into the next stitch and then a double crochet into the bottom of the following stitch, just down there in the bottom of the chain. And then we repeat that across the row, a single crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the bottom of the following stitch. I'm working a single crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the bottom of the following stitch. And I work a single crochet into the top of the last stitch. For row 3, I start with one chain and turn my work. I work one double crochet into the bottom of the first stitch and then a single crochet into the top of the next stitch, and I repeat that across, one double crochet into the bottom of the next stitch, so just down in there at the bottom, and a single crochet into the next stitch, and I'm repeating that all the way across, a double crochet into the bottom of the next stitch and a single crochet into the following stitch. And then I work a double crochet into the bottom of the last stitch. For row 4, I start with one chain and turn. I work a single crochet into the first stitch and then I work a double crochet into the bottom of the next stitch. And a single crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the bottom of the following stitch, and I repeat that across, a single crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the bottom of the following stitch. And I end with a single crochet in the last stitch. And that's the basket done. We're going to do a neatening row around the side and the bottom. So we start with one chain and work a single crochet into each stitch down the first side. Into the corner stitch, work one single crochet, one chain and one single crochet. Then we work one single crochet into each stitch along the bottom to the corner stitch. Into the corner stitch, work one single crochet, one chain and one single crochet, and then work one single crochet into each stitch up the side. Now for along the top, I start with 2 chain and I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into each stitch along the top. A half double crochet is called a half treble in the UK. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. And repeat that in each stitch across. So I'll just finish this row and I'll meet you at the end. Now I'm at the end of the row. I turn my work and slip stitch into the first and second stitches, and then I work 16 chain for the handle, and then I slip stitch into the second last stitch at the end of the basket, so just in there, and then I turn my work and I'm going to work one single crochet into each of my chain, then I slip stitch into the same stitch on the basket and fasten off. And that's the basket done. Now I'll just work another sauce bottle in a different colour and another glass and weave in my ends, and I'll be back to put it together. Now there's my pieces. I've got the basket, 2 glasses, 2 straws, the watermelon and 2 sauce bottles. The first things I'll do is embroider seeds on the watermelon and attach the straws in behind the glasses, and I'll just bend the straw over at the top a bit. And I'll also attach the sauce bottles to the basket, just at the bottom there like that. And there's the finished food and basket to go on the picnic table. I haven't stitched them on yet, but will before I attach them to the teddy bear's picnic blanket. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns, the details of my Facebook group and the details of my Patreon account. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.